Steven Crowder made a video rebutting John Oliver's description of impeachment and why he thought that they should go ahead and begin impeachment proceedings, which I don't agree with, but I think Steven Crowder's rebuttal was kind of disingenuous and didn't really portray what John Oliver was really trying to get at. John Oliver was trying to say that he did do obstruction of justice and that they should go ahead and do it just because of the principle, just because you shouldn't let anyone think that they are above the law, so you should go ahead with the proceedings anyways, even though the fact that it will not be voted for eventually in the Senate. And I don't want to misconstrue old Steven Crowder, so please go watch his video also. These are the two intro clips, and so I'm going to go ahead and play them in their entirety.
The law found that there was no collusion. This is what, again, it's just based on the premise of Donald Trump thinks he's above the law. None of us think that he's above the law. The
law did not find that there was no collusion. The special counsel actually just decided that as special counsel that they do not have the right to bring up charges against Donald Trump. That's why they put in the Mueller report many like things hinting at like, hey, this is up to Congress. They just said like, we don't have the ability to do this. That's Congress's decision if they want to impeach him. And because they actually listed many instances in the report of obstruction of justice, and you will see that John Oliver actually shows those instances in the video, and you will see that Steven Crowder does not even try to address those. He just kind of addresses all the other little stuff on the side.
Is innocent until proven guilty. Whether it's the president, whether it's an officer, or whether it's some kid in a red hat being screamed down by black Hebrew Israelites who think white people all go to hell.
All right, calm down.
About a lot these days. Impeachment. Ever since this president got elected, people have been dying to see him impeached.
Not everyone.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say everybody.
That would show the blind spot. And by the way, before we get started, I gotta say, John Oliver really good at taking what should be a 3-minute segment and stretching it out to 20 minutes.
And that is complete.
Yeah, definitely not everyone, but he never says everyone. He just says as soon as he got elected, people have been wanting him to be impeached. And there are definitely some very adamant left-wing people who think just off the get-go that he is illegitimate and doesn't deserve to be president, especially on a lot of the emolument stuff. Like he accepts money from Saudi Arabia and other foreign governments. Like, I don't think that the Russia investigation is that crazy. I don't think we should impeach him. I don't think we should even try to impeach him. I think we should focus on other things. But he's just kind of disingenuous, I believe.
Not true. It's not the means to the end that people think. All you do, vote to impeach, bye-bye birdie. It isn't that.
I don't understand. Why are they laughing? She just named the type.
Because it's a comedy show, and the people are kind of prone to be on the edge of their seat, like ready to laugh. And Nancy Pelosi's kind of a goofy character, especially for being the fucking House of... fucking representative, what is it? Speaker of the House.
We'll have a film.
They're laughing at her, guys.
Exactly, yes.
In the heat of the night.
That's what brings into a president's conduct. And if a majority decides they found impeachable offences, they vote to impeach. But that is not the end. That merely moves the process to the Senate, where a trial is held. And the president is only removed from office if a 2/3 majority votes for that. So, what is the case for putting this president through that process?
Next, teach us about conjunctions and their functions.
Nobody ever actually does explain what impeachment is. Steven Crowder definitely doesn't educate people who watch his videos. So, I mean, it's actually a good change of pace that people on Steven Crowder are actually finding out what impeachment is and actually hearing about it. And when he's going to make the case for it, he wants to obviously actually explain the steps to getting there.
Pretty much.
All right, let's go to the next clip.
One area where we already have considerable evidence against Trump is obstruction of justice. It's a very serious allegation. It was among the articles of impeachment
against both
Nixon and Clinton. Obstruction was also half of Robert Mueller's report.
It is a serious allegation. That's why you made it. It would be a serious allegation for me to accuse you of rape.
No, it's a serious allegation because there's actual evidence behind it, and it's not just the fact that he's serious about the allegation, and that's what he's trying to portray and mock with this little instance here.
Rapist.
Yeah,
That would be bad if it were true. Yes. Rapist! It doesn't make any sense at all.
Proof.
And he's right, by the way, that both Nixon and Clinton had articles of impeachment brought against him. Obviously, Nixon resigned, but partly because of obstruction. So, understood, but that's where the comparison of Nixon and Clinton with Donald Trump ends.
Huh.
Why? Let me ask you guys, what could possibly be the difference between Nixon, Clinton, and Donald Trump? Why is one not like the other? They committed the crime!
Oh, that's
They're
right.
guilty!
They were actually...
Obstructing, that's assisting justice!
Yeah, and the AG even said, and I know we're...
That's the point of the actual, impeachment proceedings, is to vote on the House, and if they believe that, yes, there is grounds to remove them as president, then it'll go to a trial in the Senate where they will discuss the facts and decide whether or not they think is guilty. And John Oliver is just saying that he believes that they do have what, they need to go ahead and go forward with it.
Get to it probably in a second, but the AG said there wasn't enough evidence.
Well, he said, it's tough to be acting with corrupt motives. Your motives are that you're innocent. That's actually from Barr.
Yeah, there you go. See? And also the deputy AG said, not enough evidence.
You're telling me that the deputy attorney general and the attorney general, both appointed by Donald Trump, would want to have some reason to want to impeach Donald Trump and want to actually portray that information out there? William Barr, after the Mueller report was released and before it was made public, he didn't really paint the full picture. He just kind of said, Trump's good. There's nothing to look at here. Just go ahead and move on. He didn't actually say that, yes, in this report, he did actually say that there are some alarming signs that he was trying to impeach this. And it's not just the fact that he fired James Comey, which, a lot of people would say that's enough right there. I don't think it is. He wanted, maybe, if I was president, I'd maybe want to appoint my own FBI director. But so I definitely wouldn't conclude that would be impeachment or worthy or obstruction of justice at all. But there are other instances that John Oliver does provide that Steven Crowder just completely lacks in this video.
Like, these are just two of the brightest minds in legal jurisprudence.
Well,
So,
not allegedly. We have more clips to get to. All right, like I said, paper thin.
Here's why this really matters. But for Don McGahn, Trump might have stopped an investigation into himself. And if a president can shut down an investigation, he can basically do anything with no consequences. It's a big deal.
What? But Trump, he didn't shut down an investigation.
Exactly.
Even when Trump was innocent, Democrats forced the tax.
No, he didn't shut it down, but he tried to. That's the point. Just because when you try to kill somebody, but you just don't do it, you're not good.
Taxpayer to spend 2 years, $35 million.
You know how much money Donald Trump spends on just moving around, just going to his golf course every week, and there needs to be an investigation, and for some reason it probably shouldn't cost $35 million. I'm not disagreeing with that, but it's gonna cost a little bit, and Donald Trump is costing taxpayers an insane amount of money.
He goes on to talk about the sort of the precedent, I guess. He doesn't use the word, if I'm not mistaken, that it sets. Next clip.
To be honest, the thing that's tipped the scales
now
for
he's
me
being honest.
is remembering that not opening an inquiry comes with consequences too.
Donald
Because it
Oliver's
essentially
a pretty
sends the message
honest
that
guy.
the president can act with impunity, which is a dangerous precedent to set.
Hold on a second. What message? That to the left you're now guilty until proven innocent, unless you're a black guy waving an accurate scale replica gun at passersby in the park. I get it. It's just there are different strokes. If an invention. Talk about Trump Jr. meeting with the Russians. The Russians they met with worked for Fusion GPS. I feel like I've been saying this until I'm blue in the face. The same Fusion GPS that the Clinton campaign hired to create the hoax Steele dossier.
Very awkward.
We know that for a fact. So Oliver is in disbelief that Trump didn't call the FBI about the Russians offering.
In this scene, they did on John Oliver's show. He showed that that interview that Donald Trump gave inside the Oval Office, where that one dude off of ABC asked him, like, if you got information from another country now, would you report it? And Donald Trump's like, no, I just take the information. I'm not just going to call the FBI. Like, I never call the FBI.
But Hillary Clinton actually.
And Hillary Clinton. Just because Hillary Clinton took information from Russians also doesn't mean that it's okay when Donald Trump does it. I hate when all these right-wing people are like, well, Hillary Clinton's not in president, and I'm not going to argue for her, even though I'm a left-wing person. I'm not going to I dislike Hillary Clinton. If you want to argue with the mainstream media people, fine, but you just quit bringing up Hillary Clinton. Like, I'm sure she's supported by CNN and MSNBC people, but just because you're left wing doesn't mean you're just a Hillary Clinton lover. And they always bring that up as an argument, like, oh, she did it, so Trump can do it too. No, just because Hillary Clinton did something wrong doesn't mean Donald Trump can get away with doing that thing that's also wrong. So
paid Fusion GPS, the firm who worked with those Russians to create a fake dossier to influence the election. It is amazing to me that it hasn't been covered more. Did you notice the last clip here?
Geraldine is right.
I can't guarantee that impeachment will work out the way that you want it to, because it probably won't. But that doesn't mean that it's not worth doing. Because if nothing else, we'd be standing by the basic, fundamental principle that nobody is above the law. And in doing so, it would mean that when people tell dying relatives that we're doing everything we can to hold this president accountable, at least this time, it would actually be true.
No, what you would be saying is that the rule of law doesn't matter, that someone isn't innocent until proven guilty. That
no, there would be a trial in the Senate where they would decide that based on facts and evidence.
One is above the law. He's not.
Well, that's all of it. So this is what he didn't show. These are the, like, if I was Steven Crowder and I'm like, okay, he's wanting Donald Trump to be impeached, well, let's see what information he provides in his video. And I scaled through that whole video. There would be two things that I would show, because I would say that these are the only 2 points in that entire video that he is making that he wants to actually express the fact that he believes he should be impeached. And here's the first one.
But that phrase, crazy shit, actually became unhelpfully distracting, because the fact the president's lawyer said a naughty word kept people from focusing on the details of what Trump actually asked him to do, which many argue amounted to flagrant obstruction. Trump asked McGahn to have Robert Mueller, the person investigating him, fired. Specifically, according to McGahn, under oath, Trump told him Mueller has to go, adding, "Call me back when you do it," then calling him back and asking, "Have you done it?" So this is clearly something very important to Trump. It wasn't something he said casually, like Robert Pattinson should not take back Kristen Stewart. She cheated.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Donald Trump was trying to get Robert Mueller removed, and only the people working for him are like, listen, that's too much. That's not gonna look good. Then, you know, you might actually get impeached for something like that. Like, and then here's the other part, and I shouldn't have split this, but this is only like another 5 seconds later. So Steven Crowder honestly could have just included all of this and wouldn't have had to, you know, like, these are his actual arguments that Crowder couldn't actually rebut, because in my opinion, that's obvious cases of obstruction of justice, whether or not you think it's worthy of bringing up impeachment charges or not.
Obstruction didn't stop there, because a second instance Mueller cited came after news broke that Trump had tried to remove Mueller. And Trump tried to get McGahn to put out a statement denying it, and also said he wanted McGahn to write a letter to that effect for our records. So, to recap there, it seems the president obstructed justice, then obstructed justice again to try to obstruct the investigation into his obstruction of justice. It's ridiculous. I know that this might seem like a legal technicality and a couple of phone calls that didn't go anywhere, but here's why this really matters. But for Don McGahn, Trump might have stopped an investigation into himself. And if a president can shut down an investigation, he can basically do anything with no consequences. It's a big, big deal.
There you go. Those are his 2 points. So I think Steven Crowder was kind of disingenuous in the video. We didn't really portray John Oliver's actual 2 points where he makes that he thinks obstruction of justice would be warranted, just because the process, you know, just because he knows that he's not going to be impeached. Of course he's not. 97 Republican senators are not going to vote to impeach him. But he says, like, listen, when you do something wrong, and it is obvious that you did do something wrong, which I believe he did, that you should start the process. I think what we shouldn't, I think it might just help him, and we should just focus on beating him in the next election. But, and then Steven Crowder just kind of blew it out of proportion, though. Thanks for checking out the video. I appreciate it. See ya.